Hello, everybody. I did my article report on Chapter 9, Children and Families. The article I picked was called Market Employment in Time with Children Dramatic Change or Surprising Continuity by Suzanne M. Bianchi. So, in this report was this article was very interesting. Actually, there was a lot of graphs and data and statistics that I found helpful and helped me understand some things that I thought were true, but were completely wrong. Like the first, so I'm just gonna run through this. You have the outline, and then I'm just gonna do the bullet points, and then I'm gonna add on to it. I'm gonna add on to some. Some are kind of just facts. I can't really add on to them. Yeah. So the first bullet point was interesting to me. It says one would think that mothers, me, that's what I thought. One would think that mothers entering the workforce would hurt child development and relationship, but studies have found that not to be true. So I was reading through this, and it says that just because the child's away from the mother, typically, it's not really hurting their relationship. Which I thought, how could that be true if you're not around the mother? Doesn't that make it tough to like understand each other or difficult for the child to not be around the person he or she knows best. But studies have shown that not to be true. The child's okay if the mother's not around, if it's in school or with a nanny or something. So that was interesting to read about, and that I'm glad I did because now I know that just because the child's not with the mother is not a terrible thing. It's actually nothing. It's not bad. Bullet point number two. Prior to 1980, most families had a caregiver, typically the mother, and she would stay home and raise the children. Today, men are given more responsibility to help with the children. Fathers are more flexible than back in 1960s. The father would go to work early in the morning, get back at night, eat dinner, turn around and do it the next day. So I think we all know that pretty much. That was pretty much the standard family back then. But today, men are much more helpful with around the house stuff, helping get the kids from school, taking them to practice. Even when I was growing up, dads were always around at baseball games, soccer games. So, but I think like my parents' generation, the father, like my dad's father, he wasn't really around at night. He was always working. Um, yeah, so it's definitely changing. I can see it in my own family. So maybe you can relate to it too, as well. I should say. Um, Bullet number three. Today, couples are having fewer children and spending less time parenting than previous generations. This was one that I don't understand. I don't know why people are having fewer children, especially like upper class people are having fewer and fewer children, like one or two, while lower class people are having like three or four, which doesn't really make sense. It should be the other way around, if anything, because money wise, how can you afford three or four kids? Um, but I guess another one is women entering the workforce. They're more focused on their careers, jobs, and the average age now for marriage is like around 32, maybe in the 30s somewhere. Back when my parents were and our parents were graduating, they would graduate college and they were expected to get married right out of college. And I kind of get pressure from my family because or my parents, I should say, my grandparents. So like, when are you getting married? I said I can't afford to get married. I can't even afford to live my own right now. I got loans and um, I can't. Yes, I don't know what they're talking about. I mean, maybe back when they were graduating college, they had a job lined up, and yeah, not today. I mean, most of my friends don't even. They got to go back and live with their parents. I'll be doing the same thing too. So, maybe that's why people are having fewer children. They're marrying later in life. Um, they don't really want to deal with having children, I guess. um, I don't know. It's something to consider. Point number 4. With fewer children to raise and time spent raising them, there are more and more people in the workforce than ever, which is obvious. I mean, there's more women than ever, which is great in the workforce now. But I mean, there's going to be less jobs, obviously, because there's more people and there's going to be more people unemployed. It all makes sense. I'm an economics major. I learn all about this stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it's good that women don't have to stay home. They can do what they want now because they were kind of forced to back in like the 1960s. It was like they were responsible. Like, that was their thing. I mean, they really couldn't go out and get a job. It wasn't really considered normal. But today it's fine. I mean, good for them. I mean, they can if they want to work, let them work. They don't have to be tied down to a family. I mean, I don't know why people have such a big deal with it. My grandparents, my grandfather's like, "You're not gonna make your wife work, right?" I said, I mean, I hope not. I hope I can support her and support the family with my job. I don't really want her to have to work, but if she wants to work and have a career, she can have a career. And so I don't know. It's just different to see from generation to generation these type of things. So it's definitely how times have changed and how we think of things as normal and other generations think of things as wow. You guys accept this stuff? Yeah. Where was I? What point was I on? Hmm. Oh yes. Bullet 6.5. Studies show that people have overestimated how much time mothers actually spend with the children. Just because the mothers are with the children most of the time, most families, the mothers, doesn't mean they're always around them. I think people think just because the mother's home, they're always with the child. It's not true. There's many families with nannies. There's many families that take their kids to daycare. So the mother can work part time or just do things other than take care of the child. I mean, I'd go crazy if I had to sit home all day with my kid. I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah. So I think that sometimes, like, if the mother's not working, what is she doing all day? Is she just sitting home with the child? And yeah, that was interesting. Uh, Bullet number 6: father's time. Just like mother's time has been overestimated, studies have found that that we think that fathers don't really spend as much time as they do actually. Like they actually do spend more time than you think. Even over the last 30 years, it's dramatically increased, like I said, since the 1960s. Even to the prior to 1980s, fathers spend much more time with your family and children than given credit, which yeah, that's kind of, I don't know. I didn't really think of that 1970s, 1960s. I mean, the father, I don't know. It's just interesting. I guess that's why we do these articles to find new things. This backs it up. In 1965, fathers had children with them around half as often as mothers, but by the 2000s, fathers' time with children was around two-thirds of the mothers. So it goes to show that fathers are spending more and more time with their children, which is great. Well, I mean, good. I mean, that's the point of a family. I think family is the most important. It shouldn't be work. I mean, you got to support your family, but I mean, you can't have your life centered around work unless you want to. But I guess that's just the way I was raised. I mean, it's family first, and then you try to support them as best you can. Um, I know this for economics because it says today it's getting harder and harder to support a family on one income. The median income right now in the United States is around 42,000, 44,000. It's just so hard to live with one income. You can't really support a family making 40. I mean, you can support a family, but you can't really live that well on 44,000. I mean, especially if you live down here in the city or Long Island. Oh, you just can't afford it. So most parents do have to work dual incomes, which is fine. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do to support your family. Uh, this was another thing that was really stood out to me. There has been a dramatic rise in preschooling before kindergarten. In the 1960s, it was around 10% would go to school before kindergarten, and today it is currently just above 50%. So I don't know if I should take. Is it good or bad that kids are going to school early? Some say that kids should stay home with the parent. They're not ready to go to, or they're not ready to go to school and be around other kids at such a young age, 3 to 5. I mean, is that kind of young? So yeah, and as you see, I'm going to ask you that as a question, a discussion question. What do you think about that? I'm running a little short on time, so most mothers work part time instead of full time because you still have the kids to worry about if you do have children. And as a family's income rises, children spend less time with the parents. That's only obvious. If you have more money, you can send the kids to camp. You can send them on sports teams or activity. You can music lessons. You give the kids more to do. Obviously, they have more choices because the parents can pay for them. So yeah, this article was very interesting, and I enjoyed doing this and learning things that or corrected me in the way I thought. So yeah, hope you enjoyed my presentation.